Ladies and gentlemen, today I am here to challenge a tradition so old, so deeply rooted, that even daring to question it feels like heresy. But sometimes the truth demands that we speak boldly, even when it shakes the ground beneath our feet. You are not created by the divine to live under a contract of fear, where you must pay rent to your Creator to secure His love or favor. Most people have been taught that giving is a virtue, and indeed it is, but what they haven't been taught is that not all giving is created equal. Giving out of fear, guilt, shame, or social pressure isn't truly virtuous. It is a betrayal of the abundant spirit within you. When you give because you are afraid of what might happen if you don't, you are not practicing faith. You are practicing fear disguised as faith. That kind of giving is not only hollow, it is damaging to your soul's true nature. It is a sin, not against a religious law, but against your own potential, your own abundance, your own divine creative power. You were not created to live in fear of loss. You were not placed here to operate under the constant anxiety that, if you do not hand over a percentage of your earnings, some cosmic curse will fall upon you. That belief is not spirituality. It is superstition. It is a low-frequency mindset that keeps you trapped in a cycle of scarcity thinking. It tells you that you are small, weak, and perpetually at risk, unless you pay to protect yourself. But the truth is, you were born powerful. You were born abundant. You are already connected to infinite supply. You are already blessed beyond measure, not because of what you give or withhold, but because of who you are at your core. Giving should be an act of gratitude and love, not an act of fear and self-preservation. When you give because your heart overflows, when you give because you genuinely want to uplift others, when you give because it brings you joy to be a channel of blessing, then you are aligning yourself with the true source of abundance. In that moment, you are stepping into your highest self. You are participating in the endless, generous circulation of life itself. Money flows through you easily. Opportunities open up naturally. Favor seems to find you without effort. Why? Because you are operating from a place of truth, not fear. Fear-based giving, on the other hand, blocks the flow. It creates resistance inside you. You may fulfill the outward ritual, dropping a check into a plate, clicking the donate button, but inwardly you are tightening. You are second-guessing. You are worrying about what you are losing. Even as you give, that internal contradiction sends mixed signals to the universe. It says, I am giving, but I am afraid. I am trying to obey, but I do not trust. I am sacrificing, but I am worried I will suffer lack. That is not the vibration of abundance. That is the vibration of loss. And what you focus on, you attract. When you consistently give from a place of fear, you program your subconscious mind to believe that there is never enough. You teach yourself to view life as a precarious balancing act, where any wrong move could trigger disaster. That mindset leaks into every area of your life. Your career, your relationships, your self-esteem. You start making decisions based on avoiding pain rather than pursuing purpose. You shrink rather than expand. You conserve rather than create. You live small, even though you were meant to live great. This is why fear-based tithing, or any fear-based giving, is a sin against abundance. It is a violation of the fundamental truth that you are already connected to the source of all good. It is a denial of the truth that life is meant to be lived expansively, creatively, and joyfully. It is an insult to the divine gifts placed within you, your talents, your dreams, your passions, your visions. These gifts are not meant to be squashed under the heavy burden of obligation. They are meant to be nurtured and unleashed for the good of all. If you feel guilted into giving, pause. If you feel pressured to pay your dues to avoid catastrophe, stop, step back, reconnect with the truth. Giving should be a celebration, not a tax. It should be a spontaneous overflow of love and gratitude, not a grim duty to be checked off. You owe nothing to a God who already gave you everything. Your only debt, if you can call it that, is to live fully, give freely, love boldly, and create fearlessly. So remember, fear-based giving is not true giving. It is a false offering born of scarcity, not abundance. You are not here to feed the fires of fear. You are here to blaze a trail of faith, freedom, and purpose. Give from love. Give from joy. Give because you are overflowing, not because you are afraid of running dry. That is the only kind of giving that multiplies. That is the only kind that honors who you truly are. True giving is one of the purest acts of the human spirit. It is an outward expression of an inward reality, a declaration that says, I have enough, I am enough, and I freely share my abundance with the world. But sadly, much of what is called giving today is not giving at all. It is forced, it is demanded, it is extracted under the heavy hand of tradition, expectation, or guilt. And the tragedy is that giving, when done from force and not freedom, loses its magic. It becomes a hollow transaction rather than a holy transformation. It no longer lifts the spirit, it chains it. You were created for freedom. Every breath you take is a reminder that life itself is a gift, given to you without condition. The sun does not charge you for its light. The earth does not invoice you for the ground you walk on. The universe was built on the principle of free-flowing, unconditional giving. And when you give from that same spirit, you align yourself with the deepest laws of success, growth, and abundance. You enter the river of prosperity that flows without obstruction. But when giving is forced, when it is demanded through fear, manipulation, or social pressure, it stops being an act of creation and becomes an act of survival. Instead of expanding your spirit, it contracts it. Instead of elevating you, it burdens you. Instead of opening doors, it closes your heart. Forced giving is a tax on the soul, and every time you give under compulsion, you reinforce the lie that you are not free, that you are not enough, that you must pay your way to stay in grace. When you are made to feel that you must give to be loved, accepted, or protected, it poisons the very energy of your offering. It twists generosity into duty. It turns joy into obligation. It perverts gratitude into fear. And the truth is, the universe does not reward reluctant giving. It rewards giving that bursts forth from the heart, that bubbles up from a place of genuine desire to bless, to uplift, to create more good in the world. If you give with a clenched fist, you will receive with a clenched heart. If you give with resentment, you will attract situations that mirror that resentment back to you. But if you give with open hands and open heart, without coercion, without fear, you will step into a cycle of increase that no one can take from you. Real giving must be a choice, not a chore. It must be an act of deliberate freedom. Every time you give freely, you affirm your own power. You declare that you are not a prisoner of fear, not a slave to tradition, not a pawn in someone else's system. You are a conscious, powerful being choosing to participate in the endless flow of good. This is why understanding your own motives matters so much. Before you give, ask yourself, am I giving because my soul longs to express abundance, or am I giving because I am afraid of what might happen if I don't? If the answer is fear, stop. Recenter yourself. Giving from fear only feeds more fear. Giving from love feeds more love. When you give from freedom, every seed you plant carries the DNA of expansion. It carries the energy of confidence, gratitude, and joy. It carries your own creative power forward into the world, and it cannot return to you void. It must, by the law of cause and effect, by the deeper spiritual laws of the universe, return to you multiplied. This is why the most successful, joyful people on earth are also the most generous, not because they are forced to give, but because they are so in touch with their own abundance that giving becomes as natural as breathing. They know that true giving creates no loss. True giving creates increase. True giving unleashes a current of blessing that flows back to them in ways seen and unseen. You are not here to be a reluctant giver. You are not here to meet quotas or to satisfy some external demand for righteousness. You are here to be a radiant giver, a joyful giver, a free giver, one who gives because you are so connected to your own source of life that you cannot help but let it overflow into the lives of others. Freedom is the foundation of all true generosity. Without freedom, giving is just another form of bondage. But with freedom, giving becomes a revolutionary act, an act of power, of creation, of expansion. It becomes a sacred dance with life itself, a celebration of the infinite abundance that is your birthright. To never let anyone shame you into giving. Never let tradition bully you into sacrifice. Never let fear disguise itself as obligation. Choose your giving with intention. Choose it with joy. Choose it with the full awareness that every time you give freely, you are not losing, you are creating. Every free gift you release into the world is a declaration. I am free, I am abundant, and I am unstoppable. From the moment we are born, we are handed traditions, ways of thinking, speaking, giving, living. We are taught that these traditions are sacred, untouchable, beyond question. Yet what few ever dare to say is this: blind tradition is the enemy of true growth. When you follow a path simply because it has always been walked, without asking why, without asking if it aligns with your soul's true calling, you imprison yourself in invisible chains. You sacrifice your personal evolution on the altar of other people's comfort. true spirituality demands more than blind obedience. It demands conscious connection. It demands awareness. It demands that you step beyond the scripts handed to you and forge a relationship with truth that is alive, breathing, and personal. But tradition too often replaces this living relationship with dead ritual. It tells you what to say, what to do, how to feel, and when to kneel, until the motions mean nothing and the spirit behind them is lost. When people tithe, pray, worship, or serve merely because they have been told they must, they are not engaging their hearts. They are not participating in an authentic dialogue with the divine. They are simply repeating motions like actors reading from an ancient script. And no matter how noble the tradition may seem on the outside, if the inside is hollow, the act is spiritually bankrupt. Growth is not measured by how well you imitate the past. Growth is measured by how courageously you respond to the truth stirring inside you now. Blind tradition suffocates that stirring. It replaces living faith with fossilized routines. It tells you to obey without understanding, to give without joy, to serve without passion. It demands sacrifice without offering revelation. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, it drains the life from your spiritual journey. You become a caretaker of customs instead of a co-creator of destiny. There is nothing wrong with honoring the past. There is wisdom to be found in the experiences of those who came before us. But honoring is not the same as enslaving yourself to it. Honor listens. Slavery obeys without thought. Honor learns. Slavery repeats without question. If a tradition feeds your spirit, fuels your growth, and ignites your passion for truth, embrace it with joy. But if it dulls your senses, if it numbs your spirit, if it replaces living fire with dead ashes, you must have the courage to set it down. Spiritual growth is a living, breathing, evolving journey. It is not a museum exhibit to be preserved under glass. It requires constant awakening, questioning, stretching, and yes, sometimes breaking away. Those who cling blindly to tradition fear this breaking. They see questions as threats. They see doubt as disobedience. They see evolution as rebellion. But real faith is not afraid of questions. Real truth is not intimidated by doubt. Real spiritual growth thrives on a heart that says, I must know for myself. I must connect for myself. I must live this, not just inherit it. If you continue to tithe, to serve, to follow rituals without questioning their meaning, you risk building your life on a foundation you do not understand. And anything not understood cannot truly be loved. Anything not chosen consciously cannot fully empower you. True giving, true worship, true living must come from a place of awakened love, not sleepy repetition. The world is filled with people going through motions that mean nothing to them, simply because someone somewhere told them it was the right thing to do. But what good is it to perform rituals if your heart is not transformed? What good is it to give offerings if your soul is still chained by fear and guilt? What good is it to uphold traditions that do not lead you closer to your own divine power? Blind tradition demands your loyalty, but offers you no transformation. It demands your sacrifice, but offers no elevation. It feeds your fear of stepping outside the lines, but starves your spirit's hunger to grow, to discover, to create. And the greatest tragedy is not the death of old traditions. It is the death of your spirit when you trade your freedom for the illusion of safety. Your life is meant to be a masterpiece, not a copy. Your spiritual journey is meant to be an adventure, not a repetition. You are called to be alive, awake, conscious, not merely compliant. You were not born to serve tradition. Tradition was meant to serve you, to point you toward deeper truth, greater freedom, higher love. So ask the hard questions. Listen to your soul's responses. Have the courage to walk away from anything that no longer breathes life into your spirit. It is better to walk alone in the light of your own truth than to march with the masses in the darkness of unexamined tradition. Your spiritual growth depends on it. Your destiny demands it. And your soul deserves it. Your resources, your money, your time, your talents, your energy are not random gifts. They are sacred tools, entrusted to you by life itself to build something greater, something meaningful, something that leaves a mark on the world. They are meant to fuel your vision, to give wings to your dreams, to create new realities that lift humanity higher. But when you use these resources merely to maintain old systems, dead traditions, or outdated expectations, you betray their true purpose. You were not blessed with abundance just to keep things running as they have always been. You were blessed so that you could innovate, elevate, and transform. Too many people fall into the trap of maintenance. They pour their hard-earned money into organizations, institutions, and causes not because they believe in them, not because they see them changing lives, but because they feel obligated to prop them up. They donate, they tithe, they serve out of habit or guilt, keeping alive structures that have long since lost their vitality. They are fueling the past, not the future. They are maintaining what no longer serves rather than investing in what could truly make a difference. This is a tragedy because every dollar you spend, every hour you give, every ounce of your energy you invest is a seed, and seeds are meant to produce harvests, not just preserve decaying fields. When you plant your resources in dead soil, you should not be surprised when you reap emptiness. But when you plant them into fertile ground, into visions, missions, and dreams that are alive with purpose, you unlock multiplication. You unleash waves of impact that ripple far beyond what you can see. You must remember that your resources are extensions of your creative power. They are how you shape the world around you. Every investment you make is a statement of what you believe is possible. Every choice you make about where to direct your energy is a declaration of your values. If you continually invest in maintaining lifeless systems because you fear change or because tradition demands it, you will eventually find yourself spiritually bankrupt, rich in obedience but poor in purpose. The world needs visionaries, not caretakers of the status quo. The world needs people bold enough to take their resources and pour them into new dreams, new movements, new ideas that set souls on fire. Maintenance has its place, but it must never be the goal. Maintenance keeps the lights on, but vision creates new worlds. Maintenance clings to survival, vision charges after destiny. Maintenance looks backwards, vision looks forward. When you give with eyes wide open. Ask yourself, is this investment building the future, or just keeping the past alive? Am I sowing into expansion, or into mere survival? Am I empowering transformation, or just enabling comfort? Your resources are too precious to be squandered on causes that have lost their way, too powerful to be wasted maintaining systems that serve no higher good. It takes courage to break away from the maintenance mindset. It is easy to write a check or show up out of obligation. It is much harder to say, no, this is not where my energy belongs anymore, and redirect your support to something that actually moves you, something that resonates with your soul's calling. But that courage is necessary if you are to live fully alive, if you are to be a true steward of the gifts you have been given. There are visions inside you that need your resources. There are movements waiting for someone just like you to fuel them. There are lives you could change, futures you could shape, destinies you could ignite. If only you dared to stop maintaining what no longer serves and start investing in what truly matters. Your money, your time, your energy, they are votes for the kind of world you want to live in. Spend them wisely, spend them bravely, spend them with intention and fire. You were not given resources just to survive. You were given them to build. You were not blessed just to maintain. You were blessed to create. Stop spending your power on what was. Start sowing it into what could be. Aim higher. Dream bigger. Invest with vision. Your resources are seeds of greatness. Don't waste them trying to keep dying gardens alive. Plant them where new life is possible. And watch the harvest of your courage change everything. There is a secret hidden in plain sight. A principle so powerful that once you grasp it, it changes everything about the way you live, love, and prosper. Purposeful giving unlocks true wealth. Not giving out of guilt, not giving out of fear, not giving because someone told you that you must, but giving with intention, giving from the depths of a heart aligned with a higher purpose. That kind of giving changes lives. That kind of giving changes you. It opens the floodgates of abundance in ways that mechanical tithing or obligation-driven donations never can. You were not designed to live in survival mode, scraping and clutching and hoarding, believing that your supply is limited and fragile. You were created to thrive in a world of infinite possibilities, a world where the more you give with purpose, the more life gives back to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. But the key is not in the amount you give. The key is in the spirit and the purpose behind your giving. When you give purposely, you align yourself with the fundamental law of increase. You send a message to the universe, to God, to life itself. I am abundant and I choose to circulate my abundance for good. I am not afraid of lack. I am not shrinking back in fear. I am stepping forward in faith, planting seeds that will grow into something greater than myself. Purposeful giving is not just about money. It is about power. It is about impact. It is about becoming a channel through which blessings flow, not a reservoir where blessings stagnate. True wealth is not simply measured by the number of zeros in your bank account. True wealth is measured by the richness of your life, the depth of your relationships, the magnitude of your joy, the strength of your peace, the fulfillment of your purpose, and purposeful giving feeds all of these things. It connects you to a bigger story. It reminds you that your life is not just about accumulation. It is about contribution. It awakens you to the reality that the more you pour into things that matter, the more your own life overflows with meaning and abundance. When you give to what you believe in, to visions that stir your soul, to causes that make you come alive, to people and projects that ignite your passion, you are not losing anything. You are investing in the currency of the soul, and the returns are beyond calculation. Opportunities come, connections happen, ideas flow, doors open. You find yourself in the right place at the right time more often. Why? Because you are moving with purpose, and purpose attracts provision like a magnet. But when you give aimlessly, mindlessly, or resentfully, the energy behind your giving works against you. You are not sowing seeds into fertile soil. You are scattering them on concrete, expecting a harvest that will never come. Purpose gives your giving power. Purpose gives it direction. Purpose multiplies it beyond anything you could manufacture on your own. Every time you give with clarity and conviction, you are programming your subconscious mind for abundance. You are affirming to yourself and to the world, I live in a universe of overflow. I have enough. I am enough. I trust the flow of life. And that mindset, that vibration attracts wealth in all its forms, financial, emotional, spiritual. You were never meant to give as a beggar hoping for scraps. You were meant to give as a king, as a queen, as a co-creator with the divine, investing your treasure into dreams worth building. You were meant to move through the world knowing that what you release returns to you multiplied, transformed, and elevated. So before you give, pause, ask yourself, is this gift aligned with my highest values? Is it fueled by love, vision, passion? Will it create more life, more joy, more freedom, not just for others, but also for me? Give to what makes your heart sing. Give to what makes your spirit leap. Give to what calls forth the greatness inside you. Because when you give with purpose, you don't diminish yourself, you expand yourself. You don't just support someone else's dream, you activate your own destiny. Purposeful giving is the master key that unlocks true wealth. It is the gateway through which abundance flows, the engine that drives meaningful success. Not duty, not guilt, not fear. Purpose, power, passion. That is the kind of giving that sets your life on fire with prosperity, meaning, and unstoppable momentum. There is a truth so powerful that if you grasp it, it will change the way you see yourself and the world forever. You are the temple, not the building, not the institution, not the stained glass windows or the towering walls. You are the sacred space where the divine chooses to dwell. You are a living, breathing, moving sanctuary of power, wisdom, and love. And once you understand this, you will never again bow to anything that tries to tell you that your worth is found in maintaining structures made by human hands. For too long we have been taught that holiness lives in places, that we must bring our offerings to buildings, that our spiritual value is tied to how well we serve the institution, how faithfully we contribute to its upkeep, how diligently we maintain its existence. But the truth is bigger, deeper, freer. The divine has never been limited to brick and mortar. Spirit does not reside in concrete and steel. Life itself has always chosen to make its home within living beings within you. You are the temple where ideas are born. You are the sanctuary where dreams are nurtured. You are the cathedral where visions are shaped, where love is multiplied, where hope is resurrected again and again. When you invest in your own growth, your own healing, your own expansion, you are not being selfish. You are honoring the true temple. You are cultivating the space where miracles happen, where lives are touched, where futures are transformed. There is no offering more sacred than the investment you make in your own awakening. No gift more holy than the decision to nourish your own soul, to expand your own light, to strengthen your own spirit. You do not need permission from any institution to honor the sacredness within you. You do not need anyone's approval to pour resources into your personal growth, your education, your healing, your dreams. In fact, it is your responsibility to do so. Because when you thrive, when you rise, when you shine, you become a beacon for others. You become living proof of what is possible. If you believe that giving your resources only to maintain physical buildings is what pleases the divine, you have missed the deeper call. The divine is not impressed with architecture. It is not moved by fundraising campaigns. It is not glorified by marble floors or golden altars. It is glorified when you step fully into who you were created to be, when you unlock the gifts inside you, when you unleash your creativity, your compassion, your courage, when you live a life that sets others free simply by the way you walk through the world. You are the temple, and the temple must be kept alive, vibrant, thriving, not with guilt, not with shame, but with love, purpose, and passion. Every time you invest in your learning, your health, your vision, your personal evolution, you are sweeping the floors of the temple, lighting the candles, opening the doors wide for the sacred to move freely through you. Every act of self-investment is an act of worship, far greater than any ritual performed out of empty tradition. You were never meant to be a brick in someone else's monument. You were meant to be a living flame, a moving river, a rising mountain, a force of life that cannot be contained by walls or traditions. And when you realize this, you will stop measuring your spiritual worth by how much you give to preserve institutions. Instead, you will measure it by how deeply you are connected to your own divine nature, and how powerfully you share that light with the world. Imagine a world where every person realized they were the temple. Imagine communities not built around maintaining structures, but around empowering people. Imagine resources flowing not into cold stone, but into living souls, into education, into healing, into creativity, into freedom. That is the revolution that purposeful, conscious living will create. A revolution of awakened temples, people alive with purpose, people free from the chains of blind tradition, people building futures rooted in love and limitless possibility. You carry within you a power greater than any cathedral. You are the holy ground where miracles take root. You are the sacred vessel through which dreams are born into reality. Honor that, invest in that, celebrate that. You are not just attending the temple, you are the temple. And when you treat yourself that way, when you pour into yourself with reverence and passion, you will naturally pour into the world around you with a force that no building could ever contain. Within you lies a force more powerful than any external circumstance, more transformative than any situation that may unfold in your life. The ability to create, the belief that you are merely a passenger, a bystander to the unfolding of your own life, is one of the greatest illusions we face. You are not simply living out the script that was handed to you by society, by your past, or by your circumstances. You are the author of your own story, the sculptor of your own destiny, and the creator of every moment you experience. It is a truth that once you embrace it, your world will shift. No longer will you see yourself as a victim of fate, but as a powerful, conscious creator who shapes their reality with every thought, every choice, and every action. The most profound gift you have been given is the ability to create your own experience, to design your life with the same freedom and intention that an artist uses to paint a masterpiece. And this ability is not something granted only to the lucky or the special few. It is a universal power available to all who dare to believe in it. When you understand that you are the creator of your own destiny, everything changes. You stop waiting for the world to give you permission to rise. You stop living in a state of one day hoping that someday the right moment will come. You stop letting other people's opinions, other people's expectations, and other people's limitations define what you can and cannot achieve. You realize that you are not bound by the past. You are not confined by the mistakes you've made or the circumstances you've been born into. You are free to create anew at any moment. Every single thing in your life, your relationships, your career, your financial situation, your health, your emotional well-being, has been shaped in part by the choices you've made and the beliefs you've held. And while it is true that not everything is within your immediate control, how you respond to life's challenges and how you envision your future are entirely within your grasp. The thoughts you choose to think, the emotions you choose to feel, and the actions you choose to take are the brushstrokes that paint the picture of your life. You are not a passive participant. You are the director, the producer, the star of the show. Imagine for a moment that you are standing at the edge of a blank canvas, the canvas of your future. The colors, the textures, the design are all in your hands. You have the power to create whatever you envision, but this power comes with responsibility. It requires you to take ownership of your choices. It requires you to stop making excuses and start taking action. It requires you to let go of the belief that life happens to you and instead embrace the truth that life is happening through you. You must decide who you want to be, what you want to achieve, and how you want to live. You must have a vision so clear and powerful that it drives every thought, every decision, and every action you take. And when you encounter setbacks, as you inevitably will, you must choose to see them not as barriers but as opportunities to grow, learn, and refine your vision. The obstacles are part of the process. They do not define you. They do not limit you. They only serve to strengthen your resolve and deepen your understanding of what you are capable of. When you take full responsibility for your life, you free yourself from the burden of blame. You stop looking outside of yourself for reasons why things aren't the way you want them to be. You stop pointing fingers and waiting for someone else to change. You accept that your life is your creation, and that you have the power to shape it in any way you choose. This is the most empowering realization you can have. It is the key to unlocking your true potential. The world is full of people who believe that they are powerless, that they are victims of their circumstances, and that their future is determined by factors outside of their control. But you, the creator of your own destiny, know better. You know that the future is not a fixed path. It is a landscape waiting for you to carve your way through it. You know that every decision you make, no matter how small, contributes to the direction of your life. And you know that you are never stuck. You are always free to choose, to change, and to create a new reality for yourself. The only limits that exist are the ones you place on yourself. The only obstacles you face are the ones you allow to stop you. And the only thing that stands between you and the life you dream of is the courage to believe in your own power, to create it. So begin today. Take a moment to reflect on the vision you hold for your life. See it clearly, feel it deeply. Then ask yourself, what can I do right now, today, to begin creating that future? It doesn't have to be a huge leap. Start with the smallest step. Make one decision. Take one action. Speak one word that aligns with the future you want to create. And then do it again and again. As you begin to take ownership of your life, as you begin to see yourself as the creator of your own destiny, you will find that the possibilities are endless. You are not a passive participant. You are the architect of your own future. Embrace that truth and watch as your life unfolds in ways you never thought possible.